change that. Alright, that seems alright. I'll get started in a minute, a couple minutes. You're just gonna deal with the hold music, so little feet. Is anyone there? If they're there, please, I guess, type or something. It doesn't really even matter, I guess. I don't know. We're all here. We're all in the box. Ouch. So the one thing that's going to be kind of annoying, and I'm already going to preface this, is the camera is suspended by a chandelier. So it may spin occasionally. So just get used to that. I'm sorry. It makes me disoriented. It will probably make you disoriented. So we just kind of have to go with it. That's just kind of the deal. I'm going to start promptly at 3. Sorry. That's just what I was going to do. And you get the hold music. Drink lots of water. Drink lots of water. Okay, things seem to be working, which is cool. Alright. I guess we'll start early. Sure, we'll start early. So, welcome everyone to video painting. It's definitely surreal being in a dining room, just taking over the dining room and having a camera suspended from a chandelier, but this is all I got right now. I know everyone, vast amount of people, maybe not everyone, is in some type of quarantine right now, so welcome everybody from your home of luxury and being comfortable. Welcome. So what we're going to do today is do some video painting and then maybe just some free patching, listen to some music. That's usually what I do. I know a lot of people might like, make music while they patch or watch. Ooh, that just blasted right there. Sorry about that. Make music while they patch or, I don't know what you do. Everyone does something different. I like to watch movies or listen to music. And so, yeah, that's what I like to do. So, how you doing? I guess what we're going to do right now is just start something up and just kind of all over the place. Just drink a lot of water. It's sadly not this water, but you should get that water. It's awesome. I'm just refilling it because a liter and a half. So, okay, so what we're going to do blue to green. And then we're going to go lane 3 to Y. And it's the sum. And then what we're going to do from there, I don't know yet. Okay, we're going to use the fader. Let's get the yellow one. We're going to do horizontal ramp, negative on top, positive on bottom to fader A. Fader B, doesn't reach that sine wave for B, and then the VC will be a staircase. So that staircase will then be from the mixer, which is a positive. Why is that so long? Wrong one. Positive to a vertical ramp, negative on the left side, positive on the right side. And then the negative will be another sine wave, if I can reach, bam. And then the positive will be something from divisions. I'm going to start recording on my... not yet. I probably should. But we'll wait. So we're doing divisions into the other plus of the mixer, and that is what's going to go into staircase. and then we're going to take out from the fader and go to the channel 3. So, okay, so right now already get something pretty cool. And why I think it's cool is because now I can control this type of movement where it's now actually oscillating. You'll see what I mean. It will give it kind of an organic feel. It gives it a look of, like drapes. Not that fast. Something like that. Okay, so that's like what I'm trying to do right there. So I love making designs that have a lot of like wispy, shadowy, like kind of bending light, bending time type of vibe. And so I really like this. I mean, people can ask questions in the chat if they want, do whatever to chat. I wish you could play like billiards in the chat. That'd be sweet. That'd bring me back. But yeah, so far, I mean, all I've done is used ramps and a staircase and these two sine waves too. So let's see what they're doing, or the video waveform generator. So this sine wave, you're controlling that vertical, and then the other vertical is right here. So you see now where if you then modulated these 2 points, which we'll do, and this is a simpler patch that you could do. And so let's just see what it look like if I go fast. So slow that down, and then I might need a longer cable for this sine wave. I only have one LFO, but like you can see where now having just one LFO, and then ramps, divisions, the mixer, or the bridge with the mixer and the fader, and staircase, you can do a lot of stuff. I mean, I have the blending matrix. All I'm doing really is just using as an amplifier, And then here, yeah, I can mess around with the color scope, but realistically, it's more to do with this side of the patch. And this is, I mean, we're just going into green. Let's try another color. Let's try red. Let's see what that's like. See, to me, the color can keep shifting. You can make, variations on it. Granted, it depends what color's being used and what channel, all that. Really, it's up to you. But for me, the big thing, actually that's pretty nice, is more getting that movement. Like that movement where you have the stable vertical lines, which this, no, wrong one. This one. So this is going really slow and it's just pulsing, right? So this is like how I would build a piece usually. Even for any type of music, or even just for myself, these are the type of pieces I like the most, is when you have this multi-layered LFO design. That's and you're utilizing as much as you can of what you have. So realistically, if you look, this is being used, all being used. These are all being used. The only thing that isn't is the frequency VC. You can say these channels too, but let's just say you put this into a passage, right? I mean, all right, let's just do this. Let's just take this away and just put it right into the encoder, and that will give you a better idea. Let's just bypass that, and that's pretty much then everything's used. Yeah, so you get, really, I'm using this to create more subtlety with color. The color scope, and just kind of take things away. You can see where it's a little harder to balance, but the whole principle is still there. See, I like it more like that. Yeah, see, when I don't have a lot of color options, like if I took this out of my row, out of my row, if I took this out of my signal path, I would then get a lot more subtlety. But let's say if I didn't, you get something like that. But I'm using as much as I can in terms of CV and all available things. Like, I actually really like doing the fader to mixer or vice versa. You can get a lot of good stuff in a small package, and I really suggest that. And that's actually why I have the buff mult there, is because then I can mix it out here, and then I can actually then use those to mix together here, which to me is really powerful. So we'll mess around with this, and then we'll just build on that. And this is why the staircase is really important. This is where CVing the staircase, like if I had another LFO, well, let's just break it out. We'll break out one of them, and I'll put it to the frequency, and you'll see what I mean, of where then you'll have this moving around, and you really have a nice patch that you could let sit for a long period of time and just keep evolving. That's kind of the goal. I need more LFOs to really do that, or it's not even LFOs, I just need, I mean, it is LFOs, but I just always need more modules. But, I do is what I got, and that's what you do when you can in the moment. So Then we want frequency. Hopefully this reaches. It does from the buff mult. Okay, so now what I'm talking about, so you see where, let me change CV. Okay, but if I slow this down, now I have more complexity here. So before I had one type doing that, then I have the slow movement there, and then now I have the more extreme movement there. So you have these three varying movements. This is how I can create longer pieces that evolve, that always seem like you can't, they don't repeat, is because I'm adding more chant into it versus, you add two LFOs, you can kind of sync them up over a period of time, but once you add that third, it just exponentially grows. And that's why I definitely should probably have like at least three of these for this reason. But even in this simple system, you can see, or a simpler system, you can see where if you just had a few pieces, like two prismatic rays or waveform generators and LFO, really a bridge and a staircase, you can do a lot with it. Granted, I know these are harder to find, but if you had a visual cortex, you'd be getting, some ramps out of that, so replace that, put it into there. The divisions is a little harder to then create that definitive line, and that's why I love it. Right there. Exact reason why. So I had that in vertical mode, and then what all the outputs, you've probably heard me talk about it, but it's just like based on the power 2. So you see right there that's in horizontal mode. If I took it out of number 6 and I went to 8, it's going to be half the screen. If I went to number 2, you see where you can start getting more A patterns, like right there. Right? And then, which is really cool, or like that. But this is why I love it, is because now there's a lot more compositional control. And so you saw I just flipped the switch, and then now I have all that. Let's slow down the LFOs, and now let's just colorize this a little more, right? And see what happens, just like I was doing before, and you can see where the expansion of this can go. So we'll actually just do lane 2, and then we'll do divide by 4. Sorry, we're not going to do into additive. We're going to do into A and B, and we'll do it exactly what we did before. Expand a touch, which is 3 into Y, 3 sum into Y, 2 sum into S, and then we'll just go 1 for 1 green, and then 1 to 1 blue. See what that's like. Okay, cool. So now we'll get a little more color control. And then play over here. Yeah, see, now we can get some subtlety here. Actually, I'm going to take out the green and go to red. Yep, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want those blues and metallics. That's what I want right there. Right there. So that's like Sonic shit right there. It's like something. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to be swearing. That's just going to be happening. It's been a lot. I've been inside for like 3 weeks. So it's been, or this will be coming up the 3rd week, yeah. Right. Yeah. Be a little bit. So yeah, so this is the type of stuff I really like to get, and this is how you can achieve it, is the multi-layered LFO stuff. If you don't have a blend matrix, you use something like a passage or another amplifier. But a lot of it too is the bridge. Oh, sorry. So you can see I just flipped it into A to B before it was B to A. Look at that. You get that little bottom subtlety right there. That's what I'm looking for right there. It's nice and smooth. It's nice and delicate. And that is what I'm looking for. These pieces like that. Not all the time, but when I get into, I don't know, if you've seen my work for a period of time, thanks, Emma. For a period of time, I go through phases. I'm very cognizant about it. I mean, if you do it, anyone who sits and does a craft or any type of sport or whatever, like, you become very attuned to the subtleties of it. And so I understand if I talk about stuff, it's like that. So it's just encapsulated. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I go through phases. Like, there are certain phases I have where it's just, I just want to completely dark and I just see a sliver of a color controlled. That's just like wiggling. Sometimes I want a complete color blowout. Sometimes it's just studies of just shapes and angles. And I go through, it used to be 3, now it's like 5 different phases of things as I've backed up. Thanks. Yeah, this is the type of colors I love to get, and the subtlety. And so I go through these different phases, and I've started, because I've cataloged my work over time, and everyone does their own thing. Like I'm just obsessive like that with. I used to not be with things, but I just found that by documenting it, it was made my life easier, and then I could actually work better with clients, and it just made everything easier. And it's not just about clients, it's about just curating it to such a degree that I don't have to think. And that's been the big motivation. And as I've done that, I've started to actually see these real patterns come out, and I can actually kind of trace them to different family events or life events or personal events that happen. And there are times where I see things and I'm like, that shouldn't be happening, or why is that occurring? And it is like a dark dance floor, definitely. Like it all is. It's like you're unloading a new world in a graphics program, and then you unload like a plane, like you jack into a plane, like IV style, and then you just are able to do these things. It's definitely very cerebral, more than I think other people realize sometimes. At least maybe I do. Maybe I'm crazy, which I kind of am. So prismatic ray into number two. Channel 2 or number 2 in lane 2. But I think there's a lot to be said about the possibility of this actually being something that can benefit people, but also have them gain some type of understanding of possibilities. So actually we're going to do this prismatic rays in LFO mode. So we're making this vertical, and then yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm taking that back. What I'm going to do is divide by 1 into triple video into number 3. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Okay, so now all I did was take the other staircase, so it's all interwoven. Nice. Maybe, I don't know. So it's all interwoven now, and just going into the sum of it. So if I took it out and did it into 2, you would be able to see it, but because of how I have the color set up, it would be a little, I could get to it, but I like the color scope I'm in. So 3, and now I have all these other smaller pieces there, and actually I can use that same LFO that I had before, and then actually no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a ramp on this. Let's change the mode. And where's the bag? Here's the bag of stuff. So what I'm going to do is actually use one of these. One of these, yeah, you see it, yeah, okay. So going to use one of these in the CV to mult it. So I have the ramp, and then I'm actually going to break out one of these LFOs, break out this one, another one here, and then what we're going to do is I want to connect the LFO to this filter. Alright, cool, perfect, that's what I want. Alright, so now I'm doing the CV to this filter as well, and you can see where now this is where you're going to get a lot more of that minutia of the drips, like this like drippy look, like. And so now we're really only in like one really color scope, so let's mess around a little bit, see what we can do. See what we can do here. Some red in there, I guess. Yeah, see, this is where I'm getting to the world that I really like, where things can just appear randomly. That's yes, it is. This is the mulch you gave me last year. Thank you so much. This is exactly it. I was hoping you noticed, but yes, thank you so much. I was given to thank you. You gave these to me at a show I did. Like it was weird night, so I went and did a show with you, and then I right after I saw a movie with Bryce, which was pretty awesome. So that was a great night. Actually, it was a great trip. So yeah, so this is what I was talking about too, about the periods of time and everything. So whenever I've like do work, is like this is the type of stuff I like to get to a lot. So pretty much, and I don't know how I get to a lot of it. I just do. It just appears. I don't. Whenever I do this, just like drawing, because a lot of this spawned from drawing. When I was a kid, I couldn't really perceive color that well, so it was always like I would draw a certain color and then I want to change it. So it's like great for iPads now, but I don't like using them because I like tactile, so I just draw in black and white. So when I found this was like, wow, I can actually draw and do something that's like I can switch it up all the time and I can record it and it's always going to be there. It's so cool. So I actively dove into this with that mindset of like what I do with drawing is like I archive everything, but they're all like idiosyncratic experiences encapsulated so I can, manage life. Like that's what a lot of it is. At least to me, it's like a journal because it's hard to encapsulate complex emotions and abstract things like this help me understand like look at it, oh, I know what that is. Oh, I know what that is. And that can help me understand how to interlink current experiences with how to manage the emotion from past experiences by looking at the trends. I think that's a very important thing just for every person's life, not just for doing art, but like that's why I think we do a lot of things like this. So far we have this patch. I think I'm going to build some more on it and then we'll rip it out and we'll do some more. So, oh crap, I just hit the chandelier. Sorry, I told you about that. I knew this was going to happen, so sorry, this is going to have to reset for a second. Chandelier. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. I knew it. All right, sorry. Chandelier. There's a camera on a chandelier. And it's like right at my head. So sorry. Yeah, the molt is awesome. I highly suggest it. I think everyone should have a few of those along with a bridge. Like I like them paired together because you can just right away go farther with it. And ideally, I probably should put it on the other side. So I would have when these go out, they can automatically be molted, which I personally would rather. I think I might do that. Well, I don't have the screwdriver set with me, but I could find one in the house somewhere. But okay, so we're gonna continue. Sorry, I'm just sidetracking. I'm just having fun now. Like, I'm gonna do this for a while. So I hope you're just like tuning in to hearing someone ramble and just having a swell old time. Bronchitis. So I'm fine. Just so you know, I'm fine. I haven't even used this molt yet. So what we're going to do, we're going to use that. We're going to actually go use another ramp. I mean, we haven't used shape changer yet, so maybe we'll use that in a second. And then we're going to do number 8, which I know is just half the screen, which is sweet. And then I'm going to take half the screen and go through logic. The bottom one, I wish I knew what these were. I don't yet. Oh, stop shaking, please. I would appreciate that. So then we're going to go from the bottom logic to the mixer. And we'll do number 2. Okay. Let's try it here. Yeah, okay. So now you can see where, if I took that out, it's... Okay, whoa. Okay, I'm going to go back to that in a second. So you can see where, so right here is half of the screen is going to be exposed and half of it's going to be pushed away or just negative. It's pretty much just like the ramp over here, which is positive up top, negative on bottom. But that's because it's breaking up by the power 2. Again, if I went to 7, you'd see what I mean. So there's 4, or essentially 4 sections. There's 2 sections here, which is really cool. But what I liked actually more, so you can see it more, expressed there. But what I liked more is when I put it into horizontal. Oh, it's not there now. No, it's gone. See, this is. Oh, there we go. So this is what I really like. Stuff like this. So what I did was with the division. So this is broken up, and then this is an individual scan line on the bottom, as you can see there. But it's like manipulating the screen a certain way. So let's see if I can, let's see where you were. Yeah, so you can see the bottom is the individual scan line. And then I have the other scan line, which is number 6, right there. Which, where is that going? That is going into the mixer, so that's being part of the signal as well. But what's really cool is when then I can use an amplifier and do this, and I can remove it. Now I can get to some really cool compositional points where, like, It's completely suspended. They have two different sections where it's moving. Yeah, they're in sync, but they look completely not connected. Like they have a similar, look, but it's so cool because I could then start, if I had another LFO, I could then inject it into the bottom one and have more control. I'm actually going to order one today. You hear that? You hear that, Nick? I need help. I need help. It's an addiction. So, and this is where, using the staircase and then moving around, this is the type of thing I really like to get to. And you see, like, a lot of it is built in through the bridge and in the staircase, and then the other half of it really is, manipulating static content. So a lot of the static content could just be derived from a prismatic ray with just a single line. And so that's what I'm trying to show is like, yes, I have divisions which allows me to do the static content, but you can also do that with other waveforms. And so it's the same principle. You may not have the exact precision, but you can get within that wheelhouse that it's gonna be something of the same look. Hold on, water break. Gotta get some water. Oh, support your local European market. Go get this mineral water. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. If you heard me. So there's another. Okay, so now, like, I just feel like just talking about the patch in general. Wow, that is awesome. Where the two layers of blue split up, it looks almost like it's squeezed out. And it looks like a button. See, I have no idea where the patch is going now, and this is the beauty of using multiple oscillators like this. And then another aspect of it really is the CV of this filter. The CV of this filter, look how much okay, if I have no CV into it, but if I max it out, you see where it's going to create this, instead of going to a square, it's going like that. And so whenever I use a filter, a lot of times I do CV it so I can create that extra shaping, because then if you did internal feedback with it or you did that into a staircase, you get a lot more control of that bend, and that's when you can really get these organic and moving patterns. And I think I'm going to try that next in a few minutes. I'll take this patch out. I'll go through it quickly. Yeah, I'll go through it again. What am I doing? I got time. I got lots of time. Got lots of time. And then we'll try staircase into, or triple video into staircase like I was just talking about. But I really like the patch we got now. I think this is really good. At some point I'll take a break. I'll keep the stream going. I'll let it run. I'll put like a paper that'll be like 5 minutes because that's where I have another SD card. But we're not there yet. So right now, yeah, I think I'm gonna just go back, trace this patch, and then we'll try a new one. So what are we doing here? We have blue from color space mapper into encoder, and then that is coming from 3sum into the Y, and then what's in that? We have a logic bent division. So logic here, the input is the divisions that's being multiplied through the bridge, and it's number 8, and we're horizontal, so that's the bottom line, like right there. Cool. Next, we have something from the staircase. As we showed, this is a little more complex, which is the input is from the mixer. And what's going into the mixer? We have a vertical ramp, which is negative on the left, positive on the right. Then we have the sine wave. That's what that's controlling. And then we have a divisions, which is number 6. That's actually what you're getting, that solid line right there. Heckla. Were you a heckla, bud? So you're waiting for my accent to come out at some point. It's definitely going to come back oh no, it's going to come back really hard. Maybe I'll do, I should do a smoking session one where it's just like me sipping scotch and doing patches, because if I did that, you'd just hear my accent come out full blown. If you really want that, make a petition for that. Petition to, I don't know why I'd make a petition. If you want that, yeah, just say, yup, yeah, that would be good. So let's go back to it. So we had the divisions, we already got into that, and the ramps, and so that's like what's going into the mixer and into the source of the staircase. Next, in this line, we actually have triple video output 3, lane 3 going into additive 3, lane 3. Exactly. And so then you have CV, which is multed out from this LFO. So this LFO is connected to these two right here, going to the triple video, which also has this ramp connected, which is vertical, positive on the left, negative on the right. And then that is also going to the phase of the staircase. Great. And then the input of that is actually the divided by 1 of the staircase. Great. So what are we going up next? Okay, so then we have the frequency VC of the staircase that's actually coming from a molt, which is this other LFO, which is also being used to oscillate oscillate the sine wave right there. And then we have this other LFO, which is doing the same thing to the other sine wave over here. So that, oh yeah, and then the last part is the fader. So we have the input of the fader. It's A, which is horizontal ramp, vertical, or yeah, wow, horizontal ramp, negative up top, positive on bottom. Then B, we have this sine wave from the video waveform generator, and then we actually have the VC being the output divided by 2 of the staircase into the fader, and then that fader is going into channel or lane 2, number 1 or channel A of the blending matrix, which is then number 2 to S of the color space mapper, and then G is going out to red of the encoder. There we go. So we have that patch done. So I'm going to take a second, put on some random music as I break this down, and then we'll start the second patch. So if you need to go get up for any second and do your thing, this is the time. Alright, let's stop that and let's break down. Let's do it again. Ask questions if you want. Things, stuff, priorities, non-priorities. What's your exercise routine? What food you eating? Do you have enough beans in the house? Do you got enough hot sauce in the house? I hope so. Have a lot of water, people. What did I have for lunch? I actually woke up really late and I had waffles with bananas and an allotted half part of a chocolate bar, because I allot myself chocolate every day. I always. Yeah, 3 trins is really good. It can be hard to get it to be slow, but if you do, you gotta really. It's sometimes very difficult to get any of it slow. You just gotta have you just gotta work at it. But I think a lot of it too is there needs to be more LFOs that have that ability, and I think that's kind of an inherent thing too. But I think it's also understanding tuning the different gain stages of CV. That's the big aspect of it. Yeah, she did. Hot sauce is key. It's part of also the video bleed. You need hot sauce. Is it legal to go on bike rides? Maybe. I think so still right now, but I'm not going out, period. So that's just my choice. I am on a hill, so it'd be really annoying getting back up. No video syncing. No video syncing, no bike riding. I mean, I can do out without one of those. Which one is the question? I have been debating, because there's an elliptical here and possibly a functional Nordic track, to actually do something with that, but I have to build things simultaneously. Seriously, that's what I'm actually talking about. I have to go work on that. That's been the weekend project. But Whiskey will probably have to be involved with figuring that out too. So, but that's later during the smoking section of the patches, whatever you want to call it. So, okay, so we're broken down again. Yeah, latency is a thing. 3 trins is a thing. It's hard to get there, but you can. I think the thing about the 3 trins I love is the slow scroll left to right. I think if you probably change out some of the pots or not pots, but resistor or capacitors for that, you could probably get it down there, but I haven't looked at that, and that board is bonkers with a heartbeat, So alright, so next we're going to do another patch, which I want to actually try what I was thinking of, video filter into staircase. This is just what I do at home. This is closer to what I do. I went through phases where I'd rip out I'd make a patch, do stuff, rip it out, do stuff, rip it out. No, I don't have that yet. Either of those things. So I don't. I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't have a good answer for that because I just don't have those things. Um, yet, idiot, yet that is. Um, so yeah, let's see. What's the next thing? I mean, maybe if I was playing a lot of golf, I could get the video, but that's making deals on the lanes, on the links, but I'm not that type of person right now. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Um, be video links, obviously. It'd have a golf course. You'd have video CRTs on every hole. Be totally, really all interconnected. Working on it. I'm working on it, all right? So let's get back to it. So this time, we'll get back to questions. I do like these questions. Questions are good. Distractions are good. Laughter is good. Okay. So they say. Um, so we're gonna actually avoid the color space mapper this time, and we're just gonna do a classic. Actually, going to do absolute. So ABS 3, 2, 1 to R, G, and B in reverse. So R1, G, 2, B, 3. Cool. What are we doing here? I don't know. I guess we're going to do a classic patch where it's just going to be 1-for-1 all day. Well, I can kind of do it with this. So we'll do A, which is divide by 4. We're not even going to patch anything yet. We're just going to set it up. Divide by 2 into lane 2. Divide by 1 into lane 3. So already, I can manipulate that stuff and just some colors, but I mean, see, this is also where you do get the subtlety, is having all these amplifiers to essentially gain stage all the time. Like, this is why I love this, and I'm glad it's coming back in some facet, and it's really essential. So next, what I want to do is, let's just see. Okay, that's what I was going to do. So I was just going to take waveform in. Is that a saw wave? And then, oh, no, it's a triangle wave. Is it a sine wave, triangle wave? They're all waveforms at this point in my brain. I don't know anymore. So we're going to go into the filter, then into the staircase. And so what I want to do now is then, let's see. Oh, that's what I was going to do. It wasn't that. Psh. No, it's actually going to be the same type of thing that we had before, which is the ramp. We're going to do it differently a little bit. So it's vertical, negative, positive, or vertical, negative on the left, positive on the right. B, we're going to actually do sine wave. Yeah, we'll do sine wave again. I want to use a shape changer this time, but we'll get to that in a minute. Sine wave. And then the VC, again, will just be another ramp, which is horizontal. We'll do positive up top, negative on bottom. Okay, cool. So that will go out and be the shape or staircase. That's what I wanted. There we go. So now we're already talking about getting to a point where, yeah, this looks like a cavern. This looks like a gooey cavern, and that's what I want. I mean, it's not even moving, but if you stare at this for a long period of time, your eyes will start messing with you. Or that could be just, I don't want to say what that's from, but at the end of the day, I like to also create pieces like this where they almost feel like they're moving by just staring at them. That's also why with the pieces that are darker, I try to experiment in that way because it can manipulate your eye like that. And so, okay, very gooey, yeah. And so now I'm just using the LFO to lightly pulse it. I don't really have the CV opened up at all. And that's the other thing too. You're traversing so like a huge bandwidth, and we all think about audio and like, oh, I can just like, it just whips it around really easy. It's just so different in video. There's a lot more control in there that you have to manage. Like, I just slightly move it and it's gonna have a like, that is not even that much. Let's just slowly even bring it back to set. You really have to tune it in. And that's, when people ask me about doing slow things or a lot of patching, the best advice I can give is like, you just got to know your system. Even if you only have a few modules, patch it differently every day. The smallest change of just this can do so much. that it can overwhelm a patch and you have no idea why because you just even knocked it. I've so many times I'm digging through wires and bam, it does it. And I'm like, I don't know what happened, and sometimes it's just nudging it. That's just part of it. It's its own subtle. It's a lot of subtlety. Like if I had this the whole way, like that's interesting, but to me, and I mean, I like to have this in the middle. It essentially pinches it. It's like inverting it, right? Or like that. But I like it in the middle, right? But the thing is, I would rather it like right there. Like so subtle. And then tune it down. So like right now, let's right? And then tune it down. Tune it down. Tune it down. Like that. Now it's just slowly moving. So imagine if you were in a space where you can ooh, did it just it blew your patch away. I mean, it just flew over my house. I just saw it. Um I like creating patches like this that are very flowing too. Like the last one you saw was darker. This is when I like to work with a lot more color, and I do follow a lot of times why I like the older stuff, and for me at least, I can follow it in this like layered or tiered way, so I have this more control. I mean, we didn't even do what we were saying and doing because I'm being weird. Went in and I just went by it, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rip this out for a second, and you're gonna see what I mean. Is that now I'm going to have this all into the filter. Because before, you get all this cool goo, right? Now we're going to get the shadows. That's what I'm talking about. Now you're going to start getting this wispy stuff right here. It's almost as if someone with like there's like a little water that hit it. That's what I'm always trying to access like with the filter. Okay, so now there's a lot more color there, and now like let's play. So there, okay, that's what I'm talking about. And like this just proves to me at least like this type of workflow where you can have a single lane. Like you've seen me, if you've watched this before, you've seen me do patches where I do single lines, oh, here to here to here, and then go in, or into here, and it's like one lane for it for just processing that, and I just keep it as one lane. But this is more of the way when LZX first came out, a lot of it was geared towards like 3 lanes, very traditional way, which I mean, it's traditional in its own way now, but this was more, I guess you'd follow like the production way that it was done. I know there's probably a proper way of doing it. Please correct me because I don't know much about those worlds. Um, but the whole point is now there's continuity, there's everything's aligned a certain way, and everything's interwoven. So once it starts to be all interwoven, you now have this a lot more control of understanding. One CV here is controlling a lot of things, and this is where you can be very tactical and have a lot of intent about what your CV selection is. So for me in this case, I'm thinking, okay, so already I have movement. I mean, I'm just using one oscillator. Ever this one oscillator. A lot of this is ramps. You know, that's what blows my mind about this stuff. That when you get to a point when you get comfortable with this stuff, you don't even need oscillators sometimes, or you just need one. Like this, I just want a sine wave. Period. Just want a sine wave. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. All the secrets. Oh, there's so many secrets in my brains. So many. So many. Heresy. I mean, all right, we're gonna get. I mean, I am on Giles Corey's land, so this does make sense. Um, the whole thing is you you have to put yourself in a position to think about it completely different. Rearrange your system that it's painful. That's a big. It sounds ridiculous, but it's like, yeah, I know, right? Is It is heresy, I know. Um, but the one oscillator, I just want one. See, maybe this is encouraging because I just want one sine wave. It's like I just want that as an oscillator, like as a unit, just this, and that alone would be a huge, huge thing. Many, yeah, rearrange all the time. Like I can't express that enough. It's the only way I learned about this. Like when I first started, I probably talked about early videos. I used to take this and then every other day I'd rearrange it, rearrange it, rearrange it, rearrange it, rearrange it. And what is I don't know. What is the sound? Sine wave waving. I think it's like that. If you hear the pulse. But so rearranging, I used to do it all the time, and it's super important for you to learn workflows. You you gotta. I also really express doing it where it's not fun. That sounds ridiculous, but like what I used to do is I would take this encoder and I would put it there, and I would make my entire chain end here, and I would try to find a way to weave my chain back through again to get back. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They want it to always be the same, which I get. I've landed on this because I found like this is like for me the perfect workflow for output. But at the end of the day, a lot of times I would take this, put it over here upside down. Or I did a thing for a while where I had this entire row upside down, so all of the jacks were aligned right here. That was good, but it's like, well, it was good for a while. You just have to get used to doing things upside down, which isn't hard. I mean, a lot of it is like not one for one, anyways. So you just kind of go with it. But now we're getting off topic for a second. That's yes, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, my fingers are just fingers. I mean, I don't know. I'm grateful I have them. I'm so grateful I have fingers. But they are there, and they have. So as I was saying before, being tactical about the CV. So like, let's look what the filter's doing here. So you have one that's controlling this kind of background goo. You have one that's essentially controlling the density of that, and then I can't really tell what's going on there. So let's, oh, because is red not really being expressed? Yeah, so that's more of like a background subtlety. I will keep that, but I'm gonna mult out here, and then here, and we'll just make it go fast so you can see it. Okay, so you're seeing, I have a higher frequency. You can actually see what's going on, and the CV is controlling that. All right. So now, ooh, yeah, that's what I like. So all I'm doing, I'm just manipulating some of the blend matrix, which is essentially just amplifiers, and you see I can drop out some of it's staying, but I don't really like the high frequency. I just wanted to show you, but the slow movement here is more of the thing I'm thinking of. But now, since I have all these lanes open, right? What do I do with my open lanes? Oh yeah, awesome keyboard. What do I do with these open lanes? Well, I want to use different ramps to manipulate it or division. So let's do a division. So you do half of it, like cut the screen in half again. Yeah, they do. They definitely do. They are chapped. You could say my hands are just chapped all the time. It's rough. It's real rough. And then number 8 out to, let's say, just channel A for number 1. Okay, so you see where that can come into play. So let's now do it again. Let's do number 7. Let's do channel 2A. Right. And then we'll do it again for number 6 for channel 3A. So you see now where the divisions part of it is I can control this and have this really unique effect where now if I took an LFO into one of those lanes, that is not what I expected, but getting some candy coated lotion right now. That's what's happening. The triple video multi-mode filter, so thick. That lotion is so thick. Actually, I'm actually out of it. Can't help myself. Cocoa butter guy, you know. So yeah. Oh, I do have the CBD lotion. Oh, I didn't even think of that. So going back to it is, and thank you for letting me rant. This is just what I do. I like being weird, doing this stuff. So the whole thing right now is we're doing 3 lanes, and we're kind of adhering to that same idea Originally, the idea was going from filter into staircase. It just evolved this way. This is what happens. You come in with a design, it's gonna go sideways. You can come up with these ideas too. That's fine. Just for me, it can float like that. So what I'm trying to express is now let's try to change the modes of the divisions, and you see, like, I'm not a big fan when it's overpowering like that, although in certain positions you can create some really unique designs. This is really cool. I do like this, that you have a lot more control. um, oh, I love it. I love it. Please heckle. I like this. It's fun, to be honest. It's good interaction. I'm yearning for interaction because I've had no interaction. People just drop things off at my house and just like disappear. It's been really weird. Really weird, you could say. Um, so yeah, what I like is when I do it in the vertical mode. And so let's see, since that filter is out of, that would be what's the name of it? Curtain. Curtain is pretty much that. So the curtain, like if you had three curtains, essentially that's this. It's obviously not the same, but it's in the same wheelhouse. This is where, I'm hoping doing these things and making people aware of the older tools and comparative to the newer tools, we can inspire people to experiment with new angles or just get chipsets and try things, and because that's kind of like the goal I want to mess with too. And it's like I just want to be able to think about, like, can we get like a baseline of how to set things up, standardize that, and then say, oh, I can now just like I have this, just make it easy to develop. It's an easier developer platform. That's the whole big thing. But going back to it, so like why I like the vertical part is like, look at that. Look at that lush type of look. That's what I'm trying to get to. This little, what I love most is this little dip. This little dip right there. It's just like the end of a drip. And that's what I want to get, this little drip. And that can be difficult, but that's where this filter is a big player in this. See? So now that I'm not even CVing this, I'm CVing it down here. Okay? But I'm CVing this. So, and that's what's controlling the sine wave. Again, sine waves being very important, being foundational, and thinking, again, this should just be its own thing. Period. It is so powerful that people should have like 15 of those. Talking to you guys. 15. Want all the oscillations. All the oscillations. So, got that drip. Feeling that drip. So, like, let's just play around with the color a little bit. Let's see. Oh, I don't want to lose that. Okay, so now we're getting into like an airbrushed type of thing sometimes. Yeah, like that neon drip now. That's what I want. That neon drip. Yep. That's it right there. I had no idea what's happening right now. No idea. Whoa. All right, I'm glad I'm recording that. This is what I'm trying to get at of when you do this lane method. And in this, even if you don't have the older like Visionary series, you can still follow this pattern or paired. So if you're just saying, oh, it's just summing down. I'm using this as a sum down. I'm just like 4 into 1 just going out, and like this is being added onto it. So really, you can do that. Right? Yep, exactly. I mean, there are aliens everywhere. They're everywhere. So, I don't know if they're green anymore. I've seen different skin suits, but I think it just depends on the year you find them. Um, I don't know what that is. I hope that's like a can of grape soda. Yes, that's exactly right. Um, and a lot of that too is defined by the staircase. So the staircase now, since I can multiply, now look where we're at. We're at full goo town, and that's the type of goo I like to bring to the party. And now it just looks all very irradiated and glowing, and I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared. It's This is why I love this stuff. Test me, just do it. That was good. So again, this is pretty much just me ranting, talking. people hanging out, looking at me make some goo. This is when I like to do colorful things. I try to get to this world, which I'm surprised I could kind of get to so quickly. Is making it, yeah. It's like a purple Frankenstein. Was that? Yeah, it's like totally being conjured, and so this chat's so good. This is the biggest part too. Is this neon stuff? It can get so out of hand, and that's where for me, like, you could get into green. It can overpower so many patches. But when you use I really like the encoder because it has like a gain stage for it. So now it puts it in a position where I can create all this more, not all this more complexity and have more control of the definition of the color and how much the baseline of that color is. And it's very important. Then with the blend matrix, I can now mess around and actually take it out, make it more defined in certain areas. Wow, that just turned into flames. Flames! So now, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Flames. That just went to a whole other thing. And that's what I'm saying too, is like, imagine if you just had a single lane of this, or even the switch was CV'd or things like that. I think those are, whoa, okay. It could be very important to see where these are broken out. And that's, I guess for me, whenever I think about this stuff, do I even lift? Yeah, we can talk about that later, Dro. Is the idea that everything should be broken out. For me, at least, I'm all about breaking things out to the individual level and then building up. It's great to have blocks like this. These are blocks to me. These are grouped blocks. I do let Pepto Chartreuse Flames. I love that. That's good. That's screenshot right now. Hold up. Screenshot. Thank you. Is the idea everything being broken up. Like blocks are great. Like I love the filter because you have all these outs, but I would love these two to be individually. All these blocks to be individual. These blocks to be individual, and I think that'd be really awesome. Yeah, it's definitely multiple lava lamps. It definitely feels that way. And by having the block ideas and re-emphasized by what I'm trying to say of individual lanes like this are really important. Just making small 1 units that are just that lane, you can now build a stronger system by having more pieces like that, and these utility pieces. I'm utilitarian. I can't help it. I like being a utilitarian. The most important thing too out of all this, I'm not even touching the staircase. What caused a lot of this is multiplying it. So I could even go back and do it to have it be even super subtle like that. And now it just looks like everything has an air of an angel around it. We do need more lava lamps, and we should just have a video processing lava lamps 24/7 on the internet somewhere. And this all then goes back to divisions is the biggest thing. When you approach a patching lane, it's just like I do it. Like I do. Yeah, like blocks are important. But it's also important too to think of it as like these are lanes, these are blocks. Like it's programming in a way. Everything is a 0 and 1. Then they have like an assembly code which like breaks down those zeros and ones. But then you have another layer which is like C++, which is just like obfuscated of that layer. And then you go deeper, and then you're gonna have like JavaScript and HTML, which is like interpreting stuff for that layer. Like that's all it is like abstractions of layers that we can then individually break down to the lowest level. And that's why like these ones, it allows me to do that. The newer ones are a little more abstracted, but they offer their own different type of style, just like the prismatic array with pedestal and multiply being built in. They're all different. What about the columns and cones? Oh, actually I should try to make cones are hard to make, but I can make that. Columns are fun. Columns, I can make like individual columns like that, but yeah. And that with divisions is really sweet. So that's like what I was showing you here. I have them all, all the columns, but now I can just have a few of them. There's 3 of them right there. It's pretty much Neapolitan ice cream, you could say, which is a favorite of mine. I sadly do not. Why am I even touching that? That's right. Yeah, actually, I should do that, and then I should try to achieve that in the next one. Do some cones. So yeah, I think that's a good. Well, I don't like where I'm at right now, but right. Yeah, for real. Like that's pretty much a cone right there. Um, but yeah, you see where because I did the 3 lane and then routed it through the staircase, I can then manipulate it more, and like now the phase controls that. I mean, let's just even CV that. Let's just get it wild. Let's just get it going. Let's go to spring break right now. Right now. Actually, I'm gonna mult out this one. No, I don't want to mult out that one. We're gonna mult out this one. Okay, cool. Correct. Yeah, because so a lot of times I like the older stuff just because of space and size. So like just doing the cadet with the encoder is what I prefer to do. Um, yeah, I guess. I mean, it depends. I have another system that has the visual cortex, but for me, like I have the ability to do that, and I've found it to be very reliable. So I've just gone with it. And so now what I'm doing, I'm CVing the phase. I multed out that LFO, the phase, and as well as the sine wave here, which is really not really opened up, but I wanted to show what now you can do with that. Happy Saturday to all. Welcome. So let me get this slow. There we go. So this is the other part of it, is now that I've increased the frequency and I'm manipulating the phase, and now this is just a staircase. So if I took the staircase kind of out, you're just going to get that, right? And you're going to get the different divisions doing that, right? Cool. But now that this is definitely like one of the best modules with frequency, let's just mess around with that. You can start to get these now falling pieces that break apart kind of organically, and they're less formulaic. And that's always the thing I'm trying to get, is like I love the movement going down, but I don't want them to always be square or blocky or have those type of edges. I want a unique look. Was controlling the color, so right now I had, oh, that's actually badass. I can keep that out for a second. The staircase is controlling the shape of it, but the main color is the color encoder. So it's an older module that actually allows you to have like a gain stage, and then you can amplify the color. So you can kind of get in between. That's really cool. That's really cool. And you see again, you have the 3 different columns, which allows you to get 3 different types of color scopes. And this is to me one of the most important compositional things to have, is a divisions, or try to get a divisions, or try to like make a divisions, because it eliminates so much work for you. Why wouldn't I want that? Like a lot of what I do is not just, oh, I put the modules. It's like I try to think of it to be, what can I get in a case that has so many things that I can do everything. I primarily just use this case because I can get to, I know everything, and I've used it for not everything, but I know the modules well, and I've done a lot with them that I can get to places very far in this box alone. And I've had huge cases. I had the huge 12U cases, and they were great. I like them in their own way, but having these like segmented cases that I can be like, this is a major voice I can do a lot with. Obviously, the biggest thing is syncing between systems, but it's gonna be a thing where it's just gonna take time, and that will change. And there we go. I mean, that's just part of it. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to end it on this, and I'll do a walkthrough right now of it, and then I'm going to take like a couple-minute break, and then I'll be back because it's been, like an hour, so I just want to take a break, grab some more water, and then, but let's walk through it first. So we're doing literally just 1, 2, 3 from the ABS to red, green, blue, okay, and then we have lane 1A, so 1, 2, 3A, here, and that is, so 1 is 6, 2 is 7, 3 is 8 from divisions, right? And then from the filters going into the addition part of the blend matrix, so it's 3 to 3, 2 to 2, 1 to 1. Perfect. And then the input of, we have a CV going into the triple video for only lane 3, which is actually, that is from this LFO right here, which is being multi through the bridge. Easy. And then actually all these inputs is just the staircase. So that's the other part too, is like, since the staircase is going through the filter, so if you had 3 curtains, each of those curtains taking in the staircase, you have so much control of the subtlety. Look at that. There's so much depth there. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. So those are divided by 4 going to 1, divided by 2 going to 3, divided by 1 going to 1. Or 3, sorry, 3. So many numbers. The input is actually, again, bridge, fader. And this is primarily ramps, which is vertical, negative on the left, positive on the right. Then we have the sine wave, which should be its own thing. Please be. And then VC being a vertical or horizontal ramp, which is positive up top, negative on bottom. And then again, the output is going to the staircase. And then the staircase is being, the phase is voltage controlled by this LFO, which is, which is multed out. And that's it. That's a lot easier. So I'm just going to write a note, this BRB, for like 5 minutes. And I'll put that right there. I'll BRB for 5 minutes, and I will be back. Thank you for being here. Be patient. I will be back. All right. Alright, so I'm going to rip out this patch now. I'm back. Welcome back. How to get a seltz. Got a little cranberry lime going on. A little sip. Tastes delicious. So, next thing, rip things out. Stop recording. That patch is actually really cool. I haven't done that in a while. I've been very much just build and see what happens. That's what always made it kind of tough for me with audio Eurorack. Thank you. Welcome back. Was I just want to do stuff, and then a lot of times it's just like wah, wah. It just doesn't work out for me well. And like usually, like building in a blockway is better. I just don't want to think when I build. So that's kind of like where software has worked well for me, and Eurorack really hasn't. It can if I had a huge system, but to get up to that is a lot, and I would love to one day, but if I can just use like VCV Rack and build a lot of software or something, yeah, I don't know. I'm always on the fence. I like a lot of sound design, so So what it is, I've been recording sounds around the place I'm at and then manipulating that. A lot of people call it nightmare music, which I kind of embrace. It's totally fine. You know, supposedly habitual line stepper with that, but I like real things. I can't help it. All right. Now I'm ready. So this time I want to use the shape changer because I really haven't done anything with it. I really need like 2 or 3 more bridges. Memory Palace or Chromag. Well, I'll say that quickly before I get into it. It's like Memory Palace. I really like. I think it's a pretty awesome thing. Like Unit, it's just a different world. I like a lot of the analog stuff. I do like it being processed by Memory Palace. It definitely is changing the game with a lot of things. I think a lot of people are starting to explore it with video processing, and I think that's going to be the real unlocking factor of it versus analog manipulation. I think they're both really good in that. I mean, it's really good in that sense. I have one, I just don't have one with me. Otherwise, I would be doing videos with that too. Chromag, I think Video Spin, want that 100%. A lot of the other stuff, like I've looked at it somewhat, but I haven't been like super up to date with it. I've honestly been just doing a lot of archival work and just like kind of being separated from the internet. Like I work on computers a lot during the day, so when I get done at night, I'm just kind of like checked out. I wish I just had like an RSS feed or something. It'd be a lot easier, and it's hard to track based on the history, how history is managed in Facebook, that I just get like, oh, I just don't want to keep searching, like scrolling things infinitely, which is rough and really dumb, but it does deter me. But I do like the Chromag, the idea for it, and um, you know, I think there's a lot of awesome things you're going to be able to do in terms of manipulation and ramps and stuff like that. I just, yeah, I just want to see it in motion. It's hard for me to dictate things without seeing it in motion. So, yeah, so we're going to go back to it. So today we're going to, or this section now, we're going to check the shape changer. So I don't know what I want to do. I definitely wish I had like 3 or 4 bridges at this point. I wish I had like 5 actually, or 6. And that would just be, that'd be awesome. I probably should do that at some point. Um, yeah, if I can buy modules. Psh. I bought a lot of modules early on, and I really haven't bought any in a long time. I've just used what I got. So we're gonna keep using the bridge because I think that's like a really great way to just mash up immediately. Just mash. Go to just monster mash right away. So we're gonna get mashed really quick, and we're gonna this time use this the saw wave into A, right? But we're gonna actually then CV it with a ramp, which is going to be, we're actually going to do the middle one. So we're going to do middle, so it's like 75%, or no, like 50% positive in the middle, 25 negative. So then we want into B, we want just a regular ramp, so we're going to actually just do it vertically. So now it's going to be 50 negative, positive on the right, so negative, positive on the right. That's into B, and then the VC, I think I'll have that be the prismatic ray. So let's see. Nice. So next, let's just see what that looks like. Okay, so nothing crazy, just kind of there. Let's do that. Okay, that's better. So we're gonna do instead of the one we had before, we're gonna do 50% positive, 50% positive, negative, negative for a ramp for horizontal into the FM1 of the video waveform generator. As you can see, it's creating that effect, which you can get pretty quickly with the visual cortex as well. Don't remember offhand which one you switch. Oh, a cable fell. Nice. So next, so what I want to do, since I know that's the out, I want that to be one of the sources for the shape changer. So that's what I think about a lot with the shape changer, like how it came out. A lot of it is like, oh, go to navigator here, here. To me, it's like, well, I'm just gonna. It's supposed to be a sync, right? So I'm just gonna throw anything at it and see what happens. So now I'm gonna actually put another ramp through the source here, and then CV it with a. Oh no, I hit the chandelier again. Okay, cool. I think it's good. Sine wave into the phase, and we'll take the out of that, and that will be the horizontal waveform. Cool. So the horizontal waveform, now we're going to do the stencil. We're going to do stencil out, and we're going to just see what that looks like first. So red. Cool. Now we're getting to a place, like that is some awesome red. Hell yeah. Start recording on that. Oh yeah, this SD card I just threw over here. Nice. Cool. So, what's happening here? So right now, a lot of it is a shape changer, and you can see where, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, okay, how much did I really do here to achieve that? 2 ramps, staircase bridge, and yeah, this definitely more oscillators here. This is 3 oscillators here to really achieve that, but that's because none of them are in horizontal mode. So let's do prismatic ray horizontal mode. Now we're getting very weird stuff. Even like this was vertical, this is horizontal, and now you're getting this awesome like gray blue and then this red. I don't know what it looks like to you, but that's like what it looks like to me, and I love it. And so this type of pattern now, like this a lot is done with the shape changers not being CV'd, you know, and as you can see, just manipulating the shape changers, creating all, like look at that dot. All right, that dot is what I'm talking about. That's what I want. That's the type of stuff I want. I know, alright, I sound nuts, I know. But, yeah. That's what I want to do whenever I create any type of video stuff, is to get to a point where you can create a shape like that that is not supposed to happen. That technically should not be happening. But it's happening. So, exactly. That's the whole point. Like, you just keep it alive somehow until it fades away. And you don't want it to fade away. You never do, but what you have to do is cherish it in the moment. Just like everything. You got to cherish it in the moment. Be grateful you're here. Be grateful you're alive. Be grateful for everything. And be nice. It's easy to be nice, but it's also hard. Sometimes it's difficult. But at the end of the day, it makes life less stressful. At the end of the day. So now all I did was take that LFO bridge, but then I've never really done this before, which is pretty cool and curious, is going out from the bridge, which is the LFO, into logic, and then processing the logic, and then remulting that. Not done that. And then we're going to actually use that. I don't know how I've never done that. Weird. Concerned. And we're going to use that CV to control this sine wave over here. See, I also curious like what it's going to be like when I do fast. Probably not as good. Let's get the slight movement going. Yeah, you just want to jiggle that eye a little bit. Jiggle it. See, and as you can see, I'm barely moving this CV. Like here's center, and then I barely move that. That's a lot of it too, is the subtle control of your hands. That can be difficult to figure out after a period of time because you're just, again, audio stuff is more one-to-one. It's a lot more subtlety in this. And that's a trained skill. You can't, you have to teach yourself to be hyper aware of micro movements, and it's very difficult. It's not, I'm not that good at it either. In this case, I've figured out how the knobs work, and a lot of it is knowing how much the knobs are, essentially worn too. Oh yeah, that's a good seltz. How much they worn, how much, they had resistance in the beginning, this module has been used so much. I'm very surprised, it has so much control still. So it's moving, that's great. I only have one color output for that. So what I really want to do is take that out, and actually I want to filter that because I'm going to mult it and then filter it. So I'm going to mult, I'm going to filter it into 3, and we're actually going to bypass the blend matrix and the color space mapper this time entirely. So you can see what I mean. That you don't necessarily need them, you just have to put your mind in a certain space. So that's blue, or sorry, green. Was it in red? Yeah, it was in red. Okay. So now the filtered one, I'm going to put in blue. That's too long. I'm going to actually put it in green. Cool. And then so now you can see how the filter can create this some dimension. And now I'm changing the edge. And now that I have the edge in the middle, I have all this new color to work with. Okay. And this now, like, just if you're manipulating the shape changer, look, that's the original ramp. And then now I'm bending it and manipulating. I'm not even really CVing that at all. And staircase obviously is helping with this as well to create this movement. And that's actually, the staircase is really important too, because now, look, I was able to multiply it in such a way to push it off the screen. So look at on the left side now, I have all this just rich color. And now I just have this just movement. And to me, that's what I like to achieve. You know, we think about drawing, painting, all these things. This is, you know, I don't know what it is. I just like making things. You know, if you know me and talk to me, you know, outside of this even, you know, I just like making things and building new things or just trying unique. I don't even know if it's unique. It's just building, just being there and experimenting. And when you experiment for a long period of time, you create your own pattern and designs, and like something like this is really interesting when you can get to this. I definitely encourage people to try to do this, and a lot of this is all built on one signal and using the shape changer as a way to manipulate that, and then the staircase to manipulate the positioning. Which I don't know if a lot of people think of the staircase like that. For me, I think of it a lot like that, and the CV of it, wow, that's cool. That you can change that. And when you then, essentially, I'm just overloading the CV, and I'm overloading the phase. That's how I'm getting these patterns like that. And what I mean by that is like phase is all the way down. This is all the way down. This is like middle, and then a lot of it is controlled by the sine wave. And then the more of the definition of the horizontal is controlled by this prismatic ray. Right? And then, like, if you start to play with the color, whoa, and you start to get yellows and greens like that. And this goes back to how you can pretty much switch in and out of that. It's a dark patch, it looks really organic, and then you can just blast it right out, and you could get an entire other color scope where it looks completely different and has a completely different vibe. Let's say I then wanted to process. Okay, here's another thing I'll do this, is I'll take that same filtered signal right here, and I'm going to reprocess it with the mixer. So it's going to be blended with the original sine wave, or not sine wave, but the triangle wave here, negative in the mixer, and then the positive will be a division. And see, I'm not even using the out of shape changer, I'm using stencil. I primarily like to use a stencil. And then the plus will do a division, and then the mixer out will be blue. So now I bypassed the blending matrix, bypass a color space mapper, so I don't have the color control that I did. But it doesn't matter, because if I can build a patch in such a way that follows kind of the same methodology of, and this is completely the antithesis of the previous one, which was 3 lanes. This is now a single design, and then it allows you to create this workflow that they're all related. And now that they're all related, and you can create a lot more subtlety, and you never really lose your theme. This is actually how I create like patches that are heavy patterns or heavy designs, more like this, and a lot of it's a shape changer. I can create these, you know, slow moving patterns, and a lot of it again is shape changer with staircase and manipulating the CV of, like, you can see right there this triangle that you're manipulating all that and then laying everything else on top of it. And having it all relative makes it easier for you as someone to recreate a pattern or recreate a design, or at least get in the wheelhouse of it. And so then just playing with the staircase, you can see right there, it's all there. It's just how you want to fiddle and twiddle to get there. Yep. Yeah, so now that we're getting some like ocean stuff, I guess, or like that. Yeah, see, I like that. Because you can still see the ramp, you can see the vertical nature, and now you have a completely different section, as I said before, using the actual space of the video as a way to design the landscape. So I pushed it all over here, and now I can pretty much segment that. It's completely two pieces in one. That's pretty sweet. Man, polar bear juices are great. So good. So good right now. So yeah, I mean that I think that's a really important patch. I haven't really done the Logic CV thing before. It seems like it could be good. I don't really notice anything in particular that it's changing, but in general, it's that experimentation of seeing what will happen. And a lot of that too right now is that CV here and the manipulating the pinch of this waveform right here. I don't know what the actual name is. I'm calling it the pinch because it looks like that. And how you're opening it is how that is dictating that other window, right? So that's horizontal. That's horizontal. Oh no, this is the ramp. Sorry. And then we have this other one, and see that's even interesting too, is like I can now use a division to create another layer right there. So this is a way to really create complex compositions, and this is following ideas like this or rewatching these workflows is actually how you can then go into vsynth, right, and try to create something, or Lumen, or even in Isadora, or you could do that in Touch Designer. It's all relative, and I think doing it in a tactile way is really important to understand the processing about how you would approach that in software, because software is unlimited. You're going to sit there and like plug all these things in and it works, but sometimes you don't have that intent, and that's the biggest thing that is difficult to learn through software is that intent without looking at people's patches. Since there's less people doing this, it's harder to understand. That's why I like to do these videos, to provide some angles about that, because we're all different here. We all think differently and do different things. But let's just recap, and then I'll debate if I'm going to do one more. I may not. I've been doing this for an hour and a half. That's not bad. So let's break down this patch. So again, this was all bypassing my main system. I think the next one I'll try to just go a crazy patch. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm not going to think. I'm just like, and see what happens. So we have blue, which is coming from the mixer, which has 3 inputs. One of the inputs is this triple video filter. The other one is waveform up here. This is the triangle wave, and then we have number 7 from divisions, and that's there. So then we have green, which is from the filter, and so then the input of the filter is this multiple, which is actually the stencil, and the multiple is also going to red, just to clarify that quick. And the stencil and the input of the stencil, the horizontal, is the shape or staircase. Input of the horizontal, the shape changer, is divided by 2 from the staircase, and the input of the staircase is a ramp, which is vertical, positive on the left, negative on the right. And then phase CV is actually the sine wave of this waveform generator, which is also being CV'd by the LFO, which is being processed by the logic right there. And then we also have into the fader, we have the saw wave, which also has a vertical, negative on the left, positive on the right. And then we have the CV, or the VC is actually this prismatic ray right here. And then let's see. And then we also have, yes, to create that diamond shape thing is we're using the FM control of the 50% positive, negative on top, negative on bottom. Cool. So we have that as this patch. So I think I'm going to do one more patch. I'm going to rip this one up, and then we'll give another one a shot and see what happens, and then may call it a day. I think 2 hours is a good amount. I mean, feel free. We'll do this tomorrow too. Maybe I'll eat some food during it next time, or share my food ideas. There's plenty of them. So let's rip this up, and then we'll do one more. People ask questions, people have info or stuff. It's everything is up in the air. Maybe I will do a Scotch session later, or whiskey patching, if people want that. I don't know how coherent I will be, and my accent will come out a lot, and people will probably heckle me a lot. I almost wish I could hear the heckling right now, or like hear people talking. That'd be so much better. All right, last one. This one has a shave, and then this one we're gonna just. I'm gonna talk it out the whole way through, but I'm gonna try to use all of my cables that I got here right now. I mean I have some more in a bag, but I'm gonna see how many I can go. So I'm gonna do B to V, B to red, and then we're gonna do green from red here. Okay, so now we already have an orange. What type of camera do I use? I am using a Logitech. It's like a 1080 thing. It's like it's like CE90 or something like that. I can send you the specs afterwards. Uh, yeah, I'll think about doing it. I may do it later, depending. I'll have to make a flyer for that, so I can set that up. Well, actually, me and Phil have been talking about that, so I've already been looking into it. So we're trying to figure out a way. So I'll digress for a second for this patch game. So Philip and I have always liked talking about patch games and pretty much indoctrinating people to try patch games to essentially have fun, even if they go sideways. Yeah, like me and him have been talking about that, and we have like ideas, and we actually have like a document of different games we've been like planning for a while, and we got to think about. And I was looking up today how to use Nginx, however you want to pronounce it, with OBS to set that up as a server, so me and him could do that and pretty much curate that, because there's no proper way to like relay a stream. Like I could do this stream, but then I need to relay it somewhere so then it can be served again. So that's the biggest thing. A lot of that stuff is in Linux, which I love Linux, but I have a PC laptop, so I'm debating if I'm going to dual boot it today to Ubuntu. So if I do that, it's going to be easier. So if we did that, we'd have patch games. We're trying to think of a way. We're actually going to have a call soon to think about how to do patch games if we can't do that. So we're trying to find the best way of being like, hey, you patch for a day, and like this is my photo, and this is this, and like, but you know, it's about interactivity, and that's the thing. And I'm trying to think of some software related stuff for the chat, so you'd be able to type in and then like pop stuff up on the screen. But yeah, right, exactly. Like we want to try to find a way to do that. And so, dude, I need some pork velour. You have no idea, man. After I heard that, I just want to be drenched in pork velour. Pork velour. Yeah, velour. Yeah, I've thought about that too. I mean, I mean, like anything, it's all an experiment. I can get deep into that perfectionist mindset, and I just am trying not to, because it just doesn't help me. And that's why I just did this today and like put it out last night. I was like, I just got to do this, you know? My main thing, I need to figure out how to, yeah, I'm just going to patch and talk, and then I'll go through it. That's what we're doing now. So the biggest thing I want to figure out is, and just ask questions, is like, or heckle, do whatever you want. I don't really care what you do. Do whatever you want. Is figure out that way of doing it, make it interactive and talk, but then you can like restream it. Like there's just a lot of cogs that we have to figure out, and everyone's kind of in the same boat. Yeah. Well, the shared system thing is hard, and I've actually looked into that too, of making a machine that can do that, but it's actually not like, can be difficult. I had an OpenCV project I was working on for a while that would take my system and like look at it and then be able to make like patch papers, like print everything out. But it could work. I just lost track of it, you know. And but it's very possible. But the thing is, you have to like label everything and dot everything. So it was like I had to. There was just a lot involved. It's something I should go back to though. Okay, so main stuff here. And then all we have is a ramp, negative up top, positive on bottom, triple video, CV. I don't know why the CV is there. So we're just going to go right out to the OLN to B, and already you can just see that like that. That's what I'm talking about, like that thing. So this is why I love filters, because you can do that. Like this thing, man, or people, or whoever, aliens, is this. See, this is why we should get a doc going. Yeah. No, well, that's what I want to do. That's the point. I'm supposed to indoctrinate you with ideas. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's my job. It's my job. So I'm creating these, like creating this, this fade. This is something, like, so I work with a silk screener. This is a thing we talk about a lot. Is like when you're trying to make video to silk screen, it's very tough. But when you do things like this, where you can have this gradient, you can actually make it translate more effectively. Something to think about if you ever want to go down that road. It's hard. I never really thought of it until it was broken down for me. And then I was like, damn, that's hard. It's a lot harder than I thought. Dang. And then so I'm going to do horizontal, which is actually going to be a vertical for me. Actually, I'm going to molt this. I'm going to do this right to fader. And then we're going to do the same thing. I should order a bridge, like another bridge. I just need money. We're going to do vertical, negative on the left, positive on the right. And then we're going to do prismatic ray this time into B. And we're going to CV that with this sine wave. Going to reach. No, I'm not just going to stretch it out. And I hit it again. Cables, I just wish were more easy. Wish I could just make. I probably could, but I'm not going to do it. Make my own cables. I oddly have good chandelier control. So we're receiving the frequency from that sine wave, which that will then be CV'd from, actually I'm going to do that horizontal, I'm going to molt, and then that's going to go out to that CV of the sine wave, and that's going to go to the horizontal, and we'll just do the traditional horizontal, vertical, vertical from navigator to shape changer. And then we want, for the vertical, we want the staircase, which the staircase will be another filtered signal. I don't know which yet. And then we'll do, we'll do triangle into, sawtooth into that, which then is CV'd by this square wave, which then that square wave is then manipulated by this prismatic ray. So I'm doing like a waterfall. And then I'll have this one control here. That's another method I like to do, waterfall. I mean, I'm thinking about even doing a stream where it's just like chatting if you like have questions. I know people asking questions here, but I think it's really important to talk about this stuff. I like to talk. I'm chatty cat. Can't help that. So then this. That. Okay, so I'm going to actually take now this. No, I'm going to take. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this vertical into the filter, and then I'm going to take this triangle and go into skew, or maybe size. I mean, I don't even know what's going on yet. So I'm just kind of like patching stuff and then seeing what happens. Yikes. Now we're going to molt the stencil. I don't use the gradient as much, but we'll use it right now. So we're going to do a gradient, and we're going to molt that too. I love molts. I love utilities. As you see, I'm a utilitarian. I like utilities. Okay. So now we're going to say go for that buff molt, and now this is where the beauty of all this is going to come in. So we got into channel A here, and now we're going to do staircase here. So now let's start to manipulate stuff and see what we can get. See if I'm insane, if it worked. This happens to me too, where I make a patch and I'm like, where'd it go? Ooh, where is it? That happens quite a lot. Ooh, something is up. It's weird. Ooh, low. Ooh, that's looking nice. Not really, but I don't know what's causing that. Oh, no. Ooh. So we'll just take that out for a second. We noticed that was buff molt. So look, what we're going to do is just deduct Okay, so deduct. Oh, I know why. It's the filter. The filter can do that. That's the thing I've noticed about the filter is, let's see. Okay, so whoa. So I don't even have war with the ants, and I'm creating noise. Weird. So that can happen sometimes. I've noticed with the navigator because they sometimes can sweep so far. So that's in 360. And let me take out, is it gradient? No, it's definitely that, which is the vertical for that. So I'm actually just going to use gradient instead and see what happens. Yeah, it's not liking something. Okay, so it's not liking this. Oh, that's weird. That was in the lowest mode too. That was divided by 5, and now that's normal. It's fine. So, oh, okay. Okay, it doesn't like that. It's like overloading that. Huh. So there's definitely, I'm doing something internal that, see, this is, I'm just running through, I don't know what's going on, and I just internalized it, and then, oh, that's what it is. I created this loop. That's why. I shouldn't do that. So what that should be is this, and then we'll try that now. So gradient, and then this, going to skew. Okay, cool. I have no idea what's happening right now because I can't see anything, and this can happen. So next, I'm just gonna take something from here, patch it in. What's that? Let's try this one. Yeah, alright, cool. Being my friend now. Cool. Those have no outputs. That's because I'm silly and not looking. That would be definitely a thing. So there's that, and then there's this. So in theory, okay, cool. Cool. Okay, whoa, that's pretty cool. Is creating this idea that you're having these two sections and it's almost curved upwards. It almost looks like if you've ever played a skateboarding game, it looks almost like a top-down ramp, like literally. And it's asymmetrical, which is really cool. That's what the filter can do. See, now it has that bar and I can move it down, and that's how I create this sense of geometry. Is you can use the shape changer navigator, but it's before that I didn't have that for years. So it was the filter that was doing that, filters and amplifiers, and you can do so much with it. And so now I'm just manipulating the shape changer. Like the navigator is providing, let's just even like get it to run. I wish I had a little more control of the speed, but it's okay. And a lot of times I use it more as like a ramp mover. Like I can just like push it and like get to some places automatically. That's really nice, but not all the time. So there's that, and then let's see, we got, oh, the stencil's not even being used. So the stencil, we're gonna do two things. Stencil will come out and go to A. So we're actually going to take this red out and do U, or no, we'll do green. Green to green. And we'll take out the V and go red to blue, because I want a little more definition. Steep tree, yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's what I like a lot, is trying to get there, and so much of the CV with the filter, that's why I like early on I tried to get duplicates of everything. Because I didn't know when things would come back like that. And now we're getting into like Sandine, differentiator stuff. You can achieve it. I should have a system of that. Radio Philip. About that. Whoa, I can go right to white. I have not done that too many times. So, okay, we're getting some definition here, but I want some more. I want some more. I want some more deliciousness here. I want to see some more delicious vibes. Okay. Okay. No. Nope. Nope. Okay, so what we're going to do, we have to go long range. Let me get some cabals. Long range time. Okay, so we're going long range FM to vertical. Oh, let's try here. No, we'll do horizontal. Yeah. Okay, so horizontal, horizontal positive up top, negative on bottom, going to the FM here. We're going to actually do it again, but we'll just do the vertical, negative on, or positive on the left, negative on the right. And so what that is going to yield, actually I'm going to put that previous one into the sine shape. This is what it yields. So now it's not just I have the bend, right? I have the bend, that's great. Oh, I will. And then what we got, the definition. Get that definition in. Oh man, marshmallow barbecue sauce, telling you, it was pretty good. I'm thinking about starting that show, so don't even. It's for another day. Actually, maybe later today. So, okay, we have the FM here, but now the sine shape allows it to essentially like cascade through. So now I can have half of it versus if I didn't have to be the whole signal. You know, hold on, I'll show you. Hold on. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you should get this stuff. Never fail fudge, all right? You know, and you should try a fluffernutter, all right? It's good stuff. Good stuff. They make strawberry too. A lot of people don't get the strawberry. I like the strawberry. Yeah, most likely. Most likely long latency. Long latency for everything, but the fluff will appear shortly. Yeah, I know. It's pretty rough. I wish it was not that way, but it's traversing. Traversing. So now, okay, I'm manipulating the shape changer, and now you can see, look at that aqua in that look. So you have that aqua, the subtle purple. I'm not even using any LFOs. So I don't know, that's really nice. And this is kind of how and using the encoder along with the fader, or not the fader, the color space mapper is how I'm going to get these steel, diamond, like look at that emerald almost type of color. That's how I'm achieving that. And that's how I get to places like this, where that just looks like a type of steel. See? See? And I think a lot of it too is like even if you have these tools, you have to sit with them. Because I can show you these things and you can replicate the patches. The big thing is you got to sit down and just try it and see what happens after a period of time and what comes out and is expressed as your style. I love that because now you can see this right here. This clear dip down and all these ridges, and a lot of that is created with the filter and with the ramps. Ramps are foundational everything. Thanks, they are pretty, and yes, please heckle. Start heckling before you say, yeah. I don't know, I'll wait longer this time. I don't know how fast the chat is on mine. But so, the whole point is you can get these shapes that way. We have no LFOs. Let's start to see what we do with LFOs. Let me actually molt one out. And then start to do like frequency modulation of here. So now let's just zip it up just so you can see it. Can't really see that one, but we'll do FM here. So you can see if I just do FM here, it's just like all over the place. Do FM here, it's all over the place. It's you can. It's not the look I'm trying to get at. You know, so let me try to get that slow. I mean, that's pretty good if I, you know, did something like that and wiggled it. Like, that's cool. I want something a little different, so maybe I'll try, you know, shape changer, let's say. I like that. Now, that is like a falling hat. That is falling cowboy hats. That's what that is. I can't get better than that right now. Falling cowboy hats. That's just, I don't know what to say. Giddy up. Giddy up on that. Dang. How the hell did I get there? Anyone else see this, or I'm just nuts? I mean, I am that, but Anyone else see that? I guess not. I guess not. Only if you knew. So yeah, that's the fallen cowboy hats. I think that's a sign that I may have to hit the old dusty trail soon. But before I do that though, let me review this patch and go through it. This was just a total freewheeling, seeing what happens. Thank you for everyone being here and tuning in. This has been great. So let me go through this patch again. So I'll go backwards like I usually do, front to back, and let's start it up. So we have red, that's coming from blue, the color space mapper. Green is coming from green color space mapper. Red is coming, or blue input is coming from red of the color space mapper. Okay. Then we have some from channel 1 into H, ABS from channel 2 into S, some from the they are, oh, that's a great qual too. They could be bats. Channel 3 of the blend matrix into Y. So 1 to 1. So now, what do we have in the blend matrix? We have, so in channel 3, we have the input from the shape changer, or yeah, shape, wow, I keep doing that today. Staircase, which is the input from this filter. And what's going into that? It's being CV'd by this waveform gen, which is the triangle wave, and the input of that is actually a horizontal negative up top, positive on bottom ramp. Okay, cool. So then what else is this? This is the other filter, same channel 3 is going into channel A in number 3, and then the input of that is actually this multed out signal, and that's coming from the gradient. The gradient actually has a CV from the triangle wave or the waveform gen. It's being CV'd by this other, the skew is CV'd by, sorry, previously the skew. This is the size. The size is then multed from this LFO here. And then the input of that is actually the horizontal and vertical from Navigator. What are the inputs of those? Well, the vertical is a multed signal of the fader, which the fader is a horizontal or vertical, negative on the left, positive on the right, and then the B input is actually this prismatic ray. Okay, and the output of that is multed, as I said, and that is what the signal is for there, for that setup. Wow, that was a long run. Let's see, I didn't miss anything there. Cool. And then lane 2, which is, I said ABS going into S. Channel 2 is this sine wave from the waveform gen. And then we have this sine wave control of that through a ramp, which is positive on the left, vertical, positive on the left, negative on the right. And then it's also being CV'd by this other ramp, which is positive up top, negative on bottom. Great. So there's that, and then we have the input, which is channel B in row 2, and that's actually the high pass filter, and of channel 2, the video multi-mode filter, and then the CV of that is this square wave here, which control that, and that is being CV'd by this prismatic ray, and then the input of that is actually this waveform generator again, but it's the sawtooth wave. And yeah, so there's that setup, and then we also have the input from this multed signal, again, another mult from that fader setup I previously mentioned. Last lane, which was some going into H, going into from R to B, and what we have for in channel B, we have the OLN, which is from the top, the row 1 of the filter, and it's being CV'd by this triangle wave of this waveform generator, and then it's also the input is negative up top, positive on bottom. You can see I'm pairing them. Like I have two ramps, the opposites of them, and I filter them separately and then remerge them. That's how I can create some of these designs. That way. You can do it somewhat with the visual cortex, but when you have it all broken out, it's way more effective. And that's the hard part, is if they're individually designed, we have a lot more control that way. But this is the tools we have, and we work with what you have. That's the main key here. So let's go back to it. So we had OLN, and the input was that, and then we talked about the input, but then we also have the bandpass filter, which is then the source of the staircase, and the staircase is, as I said before, is going into channel 3, number C, or letter C, and then and that's divided by 1, divided by 2 is going into the vertical of this navigator, rounding out the patch, and that is what we have for you today. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting Fluff. It's great. I don't know if you've had it. Thank you for supporting video painting and being here and checking in and tuning in. This will be up on Twitch and I'll archive it on YouTube so you can check it later. And I will be back tomorrow with more video painting, more things like this, more questions. Be there, be a square, then be a circle, and then realize we're all just feedback loops. And then we'll all have a communication thing. Maybe I'll do a Scotch one. Don't have Scotch, we have whiskey. So that could be very interesting. We're all trapped anyways. We're all inside. So let's indulge. Let's have fun. All right. Responsibly, obviously. But, once the patches get going, who knows what's going to happen. It'll be much more interpretive. But as I said, the bats, I see hats. Hats and bats. That's what I'm thinking today. So thank you for tuning in, and everyone have a great day.